And we're back with the penultimate episode, or to talk about the penultimate episode of Survivor 43. A season that has kind of done a 180 as far as the fans are concerned. I want to touch on that. I want to touch on the win equity, I guess, of the 5 people left in the game, and just see how we're going to predict how the internet might deem these people based off of how they win. It is Emily and me once again. And Emily, just start us off. Was last week's episode the best episode of the season?
Absolutely. I think that like for a lot, well, yes and no. Like I think that there were pieces where it was a little bit predictable. Like I think that like I was talking about this with a few of my friends and I was like, there's no way, like if Jesse's trying to make sure that he makes it to the end and because he has this pattern of letting go of people that he's very close to whenever he recognizes that they're both like on the same level. Like I thought there was no way that he and Cody were going to make it to the final 5 or the final 4 at that, you know? So I think that pieces of it were kind of predictable. I think it came like second to like the double elimination because the double elimination I think is really what shifted the trajectory of like the power hierarchies. But I think that just that shock level and like with the edit, gorgeous. I love the telenovela music. I loved the fact that like there was a little bit of comic action, and then like that little piece where you didn't know if he gave it back or not. I like the fact they left out like some key details because it really left for a really shocking tribal, which we haven't gotten yet. So I thought it was still really good. What do you think?
I really like this episode. I think that from beginning to end, there were, like you just said, there were moments where it's like, yeah, this is good shit, pal. This is it. Just even starting with Carla and Cassidy on the beach, and then Jesse getting involved with that, basically blowing up the entire thing.
Genius,
Cody
by the
and
way.
Jesse's relationship coming to a head. Jesse talking to Carla, or not Jesse, Cody talking to Carla and basically saying, yeah, he's covered no matter what. There's no way Cody's going home this episode. Us getting to tribal, and they dragged that moment between Jeff asking for the idol and people playing it to perfection. I didn't think it dragged on too long. It gives us time to think, okay, maybe they might not actually do this. And then when the idols start getting played, it's like, okay, well, let's see what happens here first. And I didn't think that Jesse was going to play it on himself. I was just more curious who he would actually play it on. So the fact that it was Owen, it's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And from there, it's just, even Cody showing the double birds, like all of it was great.
I think it was really good too. I liked the other piece where I know that you mentioned like the timing was perfect, but the moment where time like stayed still was whenever Cody and Jesse were like just standing at each other and Jesse was trying to give him a handshake. I was like, that's the longest second in television history. I thought it was really, really, really well done.
And then I think the fact that Cody like had a moment and then just, he hugged him. He didn't, I feel like in that moment he kind of removed himself from what just happened. I mean, he was probably torn up about it later, but I feel like in that moment he was able to, okay, you know what, he got me, hugs, but I'm really pissed off. Oh, you don't have to explain anything. I know what's up. I really enjoyed it, and I feel like we've set ourselves up for a very fun and potentially very interesting and potentially very controversial finale. It's funny, and I said this at the beginning of the show. The perception of this season has really changed over the last 2 weeks. Where after week 4 or 5, people are saying this is the worst season that's ever existed, which is wild. People saying that these people don't know how to play and this, that, and the other. And it's just been a slow burn, I feel. I feel like for me, I've never got on here and said, I hate the season. I've always said, oh, yeah, it's good. It's whatever. And I still feel that way. I just feel like the last 2 episodes have put it in the better whatever territory than the whatever territory. So
Sure.
has your perception changed in the last 2 weeks?
I think so too, but I think that like this is kind of what you can expect whenever you bring in a lot of super fans, because super fans know that whenever they're put into a season of Survivor, that you don't make the big flashy moves until you get really close to the finish line. That's what really helps to secure your spot more so in the final, and helps to make a good impression with the jury without the jury being ready to vote you out before you even make it. So, I mean, this is kind of what you would expect. You'd expect the big flashy moves at the end, and I agree with you. It was more of like a slow burn, but I don't really think that there was anything wrong with it being a slow burn. I just think that at this point, because I mean, we've talked about who we think that the winner is going to be. I think that at this point, if it was anyone but Jesse, I mean, it would be very, I don't know, it would be kind of mid, exactly what Kim said. Because they haven't really made a case for everyone else in the same way.
No, and I think that's the problem, especially if Cassidy or Carla win. That'll be 3 seasons in a row where a woman has won, but there could be a strong case that they were under-edited
Absolutely.
During the game, especially in this late portion of the game where it has basically been the Jesse Cody show.
Absolutely.
Yes, we've gotten a lot more Cassidy content than we did early in the game, but if she wins, it's going to be on production, but because we know how the internet works, it's going to be the internet saying, well, what did Cassidy do?
Yeah.
And that's frustrating because clearly it's not dumb. She understands what's going on. She's played a role in a lot of these things, but we're not seeing all of that. And I feel like if Jesse doesn't win, we're going to get another one of these Erica Michelle backlashes from the internet, which sucks,
Sure.
at this point, because these people should understand the show, not necessarily understand the game, but understand how the show shows things.
And honestly, the thing is that I've noticed a big pattern, especially with this quote unquote new age of Survivor. Typically the most defining move is a move that we don't see until the last episode anyway. Because I mentioned before, it is it's all about that sprint at the final end, so for last season, it was whenever Marianne took out Omar, and I think that we might be able to still see that that thing with Cass, because Cass keeps saying that all she needs is one big move. And that's true. That's really all you kind of need near the end to make that lasting and final impression on the jury. It's not about every move. It's about making the last move, the most impressionable move.
Well, and I feel like I think Jesse's going to win, but I feel like Cassidy is the only other person that has a very high percentage chance of winning, if that makes sense.
Right.
I feel like if either one of those two sits next to any one of the other 3 at this point, they're probably going to win, as long as the other person's not, one of those 2.
Right.
But we have to see how Final 5 goes with the idol and everything. And going from there, it's going to be.
I will say this is one thing that I do have to mention, because we do if Jesse wins, he'll be actually one of the only people. I think it's only 3 ever in Survivor history to win a perfect game. So always being on the right side of the votes, and then never have a vote cast against them until it's time to win. There's also one other person who that could be. Do you know who that is?
That's not going to happen.
So. It's Gabler.
Yeah, I know who it is, but that's not going to happen.
Just waiting. Oh my God.
I would say there is a better chance of Cassidy winning the game than Gabler getting a perfect game.
Or Gabler getting a vote, at the very end.
Gabler's Gabler is not. Even if Gabler won, he's not getting all the votes at the end.
Yeah. I think that it is really admirable though that he has that much confidence. I am excited to see, because I do feel like he's in the perfect GOAT position now. Should he make it to the final 3, I would love to see what he says about just who's getting voted out, and his case,
Yeah. And it sucks because he's definitely going to bring up the Ellie thing, and the Ellie thing does not matter anymore because it happened before jury started. It happened before. No, it happened when the fake merge, whatever we call it now, happened. So I feel like if that's what he tries to base this entire thing on, people are not gonna. It's what you've done for us lately, and lately it hasn't been the Gabler show. It hasn't been the Gabler show since he won that challenge for America and everybody else. So I would be more surprised if Gabler played a perfect game than if Cassidy won, because I do think that Cassidy's probably going to maybe win.
Yeah.
We'll see. So why do you think? I understand that people's opinions change all the time. That happens on this show. My opinion on who I thought was going to win has changed so many times. Why do you think people's opinions on just the season have changed so drastically to the point where this is now the best season of the new age?
I think that it's because there were a lot of really creative ways that people have used advantages. Like, I mean, even or idols, like Noelle using that advantage, like to be able to secure like her, like to secure, like as a defense mechanism to keep James safe and secure. Like that was genius. And I think that was kind of what really started to like spark interest in the season, because everyone realized that now it's like an open playing field,
Mm-hmm.
I think that the other piece is just, like what, like how Jesse was able to manipulate that idol. It really helped to create, again, like that jaw-dropping experience. I think we're missing pieces from that we've had in seasons past, where there have been like just really jaw-dropping tribal councils. And I frankly, as a viewer, I haven't been really excited to get to a tribal council until we had that double elimination. So I think that it's starting to like getting more excited about seeing these and actually really recognizing a lot of these different players and their stories is really what's helping to propel the season to the final. But like, what do you think? Is there anything that you feel differently, or?
No, like I said, I feel like this season has always been my second favorite of the three new era survivors. And it hasn't really changed, and that's not a knock on the season at all, because I have enjoyed the season. I just really love 42. So, 43, I mean, 43 still has an episode left. So for all I know, they could completely blow 42 out of the water tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if Jesse wins, like last year, we were right around here. We were saying, yeah, Marianne's definitely winning. And, when she won, it still hit me hard, because it's like, yeah, this is a big deal. I feel like everyone's calling Jesse winning right now, and yeah, it'll be cool if he does win, and I think that he is going to go down as one of the best winners if he does win. But I feel like some of the excitement is sucked out if that actually happens.
That's how I feel too, because I think that, again, like I feel like right now where they're at, it's kind of at like a pigeonhole, because like either it's really obvious that he wins, that he has a really great winners edit, or like whoever they undercut this entire season wins, and then it's like it doesn't have the same like charm at through the whole season, so I hope that cast kind of pulls it through too. I think that, like, exactly what Christian said, I think it comes down to like who eliminates Jesse as the biggest threat. And other people have resumes too. I just think that it's going to come down to just like who wins that final tribal.
Well, and it's going to be really funny, because I feel like what's going to happen is Cass is going to go to Gabler and say, "Hey, let's do this Jesse thing," and then both of them might try to take credit for it at the end. And I think at that point it just comes down to who says it better.
So here's my question for you too. Okay, so let's say it would be like Cass, Jesse, and let's throw Gabler in there too. So like in the final three, okay. Jesse has made like the biggest like move, in terms of getting rid of Cody with his own idol, like Cutthroat. But he's had to cut a lot of people who were his number one. I think that Dwight's still on. Is Dwight on the jury? No. Who else has he cut that's been like really? He's like really.
NECA, who was at the beginning of the game,
which is nothing else, right?
And then Dwight, and then Cody.
Okay, so there's no one else here that he's really like been super close
Cody,
to.
we all know that Cody's going to vote for him. Yeah,
right. Right. With maybe the exception of like if Carla is in the jury, right? Like I wonder like if his moves would be like offensive to the point where they wouldn't earn it, like they were like just so offended by how they voted him out or how he voted them out, you
Yeah,
know?
I don't, but and that's the thing is, I mean, at least from what we're being shown, it never seems like Jesse is like. I understand that people are going to be hurt no matter what,
Right.
but at least from what we're being seen, it doesn't seem like Jesse is like doing anything overly malicious or doing anything like rubbing it in or
Right.
and I feel like Cody standing there and giving him a hug right there might even show the jury like, hey, this dude just got me on game.
That was
And
genius.
it sucks that we don't have Ponderosas, but like I feel like he probably went back and said, you know what, Jesse's a baller, like he got me. He's probably going to tell them about what happened with the idol.
Sure.
And it's going to, I feel like that's really going to appeal to them as the super fans of the show. They're going to look at that and say, hey, we know what? We thought that this dude was just not along. I don't think anyone thinks he's along for the ride. But I do think they probably thought that Cody was the head honcho of the two.
Right.
And, so the fact that they're going to find out that it was Jesse that, orchestrated a lot of it, I think that's really going to outshine any negativity they might feel about towards him.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. I think that, and especially like in this new age, like so many super fans like are like it's whenever it's a whole season of super fans, they live for the big moves, So I think that that's going to be the big. I don't think that there's going to be too much, but I was just wondering like if it got too relationship based, and people would be too offended by the time they made it to the end,
Yeah, I get that. I feel, and it's similar to like Mike last season,
right?
Where at least like with Mike, and I feel like the difference is because Mike was a part of certain votes. I think the reason, and we've talked about this plenty of times on here, the reason that the jury didn't show him respect was because they felt like he was playing this loyalty card too much for someone that turned out to not be really loyal.
Exactly. My word is my bond, right? Like,
yeah,
I mean,
so
and
I feel like
it never was.
The difference is people are going to be pissed at you if you're, and that's the whole Carla thing. It's like, okay, she keeps doing and saying all these things, and it's going to make a lot of people feel disgusting when they not disgusting,
right?
You know what I mean? Yeah,
well, yeah, exactly. Well, do we think that I know that we touched a lot on like Jesse and like his undeniable path to potential victory. Could we argue that right now Carla's in her caterpillar to a butterfly era right now where she's pretty beaten up, like her ankles busted, her hands busted, she's on the opposite side of all the numbers. Could this be the point where she's like, okay, like uses all of her resources and finds a way to make it to the end while still pulling off one final move to show how she was able to adapt to her circumstances?
I mean that case could be made for everyone. I think that Carla's in a weird spot because 2 weeks ago I said that besides Jesse and Cody, Carla had the best chance of winning. Now I'm putting her at third, but like that's a very iffy third.
I know
too.
it's a hard climb.
Yeah, I feel like even if she sat next to Owen and Gabler, it'd be like, all right, we're rooting for you. The world is rooting for you right now.
Absolutely.
Most of us, but just don't drop the ball here. Don't let Gabler win.
That's what I love about the final five. I like no matter what happens, it's always like so chaotic, and you never like. There's always so many twists and turns, and it's 2 hours.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm headed to the city right after this, or a couple hours after this, to watch it with a few Survivor people. So I'm really excited for that. But it's funny because I'm already thinking about how that group would react to certain people winning.
Sure.
And, we've talked a lot about Jesse. And we've talked a lot about, if any of the other 4 win. But how do you think that the other 4 would be perceived by the internet, by these fans, if they win? Do you think that maybe this season people will finally say, hey, you know what? It's not this person's fault. it's the editor's fault for not showing us more? Or do you think that they're just going to stay on the,
I would say for 4 out of the 5 of them, I think that everyone would be like, okay, that's fair. Like we can see that coming, but then they would also kind of put a little bit of blame on the edit. If it wasn't Jesse, you know what I mean? For Gabler, I think that like because they've edited so much of people's perceptions of him being so negative, in terms of just like them rolling their eyes whenever he has things to say, and like the way they've edited like some of his like quirky mannerisms, I think that people would be like they'd be completely confused,
Well, the Facebook moms would not be.
I know, they'd be living for it. Survivor fan page. What do you think?
I agree. If Jesse gets eliminated at 5, I think people will have enough cool down time at that point to be more accepting of another person. If Jesse loses in fire, people are going to get pissed. Oh, there shouldn't be this. There shouldn't be this.
Yeah, people hate that fire. What are your thoughts on the final 4 fire?
My perception of it changed during 42 and 42.
Okay.
Because I mean, it was I like certain twists, and that was a twist, and it's like, okay, I understand why they're doing this, but it also leads to a lot of fun. Like it's led to a lot of fun moments. The Sarah Tony thing in Winners at War.
That was wild.
You have the Chris Underwood thing in Edge of Extinction. You have these moments where it adds more excitement to what is usually Final Four is usually pretty boring because it's usually the 3 against the 1.
So we actually had a question a minute ago from Christian, and he wanted to know if he thinks that someone will actually pull an Underwood in the Final Four. What do you? I think that like that would be Cass's defining moment if she won, because she has a track record of winning a ton of immunity challenges. What if that was her big move to get out Jesse? That would make her the winner.
She gives up the necklace and goes to fire.
Yeah, absolutely. I could see that clear pathway for her. Carla couldn't do that because of her hand. I feel like Carla with her hand, like she wouldn't be able to. Yeah,
Carla is all messed up at this point.
Bestie. She's going through it. She's going through it.
Yeah, that you know what? If someone were to do that, I think that they definitely get a few more votes than they would have. Right. Whether it's enough to get them to win, we'll find out. But I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. And it's so that all that is to say, I enjoy the Final Four fire making. I understand that people were pissed about it after 35 because they wrongfully assumed that somehow it was rigged. But I think that it can only. I think that if they were to get rid of it and go back to the Final Four where it's just a vote, it's 3-1. I don't care. You can sit here and say, "Oh yeah, we can swing one person." It's like it's probably not going to happen.
Right. Absolutely. I don't know. I still really appreciate the fire making, because again, I feel like whenever you make it to this far in the game, you have to be able to show strength in every skill imaginable in the game of Survivor. Okay. And some of it is, that social and strategic, some of it's the physical, but then it's also just being able to learn to be able to sustain your life, and fire making is one of those big key skills that people always use as a symbol of Survivor. It's like, that's literally the torch. You know what I mean? Anyway, so Jay had a question. Do you think they would cancel the Final Four tribal making if Carla gets put into it and can't do it because of her hands?
No.
I don't think so either. I think that would be part of the struggle. I don't think so.
Well, and especially if she wins it, then, that
she comes out victorious. Yeah, absolutely.
So many compelling storylines that could happen.
No, I know. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
No, I have really enjoyed this season. Really enjoyed, meaning it's fine. I don't hate it. It's not, and I think the issue for me for this season is I had a week break in between finishing 42 and 42 and starting this. So
that's a lot.
I was just burnt out. I was just burnt out the beginning of the season. So I was really checked out of a lot of episodes. I would go back and rewatch them just to make sure I knew what I was talking about, but like it was a lot. So I'm more hopeful that when I do go back and rewatch this season,
Yeah.
that I potentially might even like it a little bit more. Because
And if you have like a little cleanse, you need a couple months of a cleanse, you know?
yes, I need a few months of a cleanse, which sucks because getting some advertisement in there. My season of Survivor New York starts airing December 30th. And so by the time this season ends tomorrow, I'll have 2 weeks before I'm going to start watching that season of Survivor New York. And then by the time that ends, that'll be in the mid-March, and then 44 will be coming out almost
Can you
right after
believe?
that. So like, the Survivor thing is really just taking over my life over the last 22 years.
You said it like it's a bad thing, though.
It's not. It's really not. It's more, especially since the pandemic. Survivor's been pretty much my entire life besides coaching. So I just need like maybe a month where I don't.
I feel that. And like honestly, I like even with your season airing, like I think that'll still be time for you to be able to catch your breath and relax a little bit, you know?
Yeah, because I played the game, so I don't really need to watch everything.
Yeah, right. That'll just be for me to watch.
Yeah. All right. Rank the top of the final 5 people, just based on
in terms of shot of winning.
Not shot at winning. How you actually think they're going to place. Just
give me like 3 seconds.
Okay.
Okay, so hold on, wait. I need my bank. Okay, so we have Carla, of course. We have
idled out at 5.
Jesse, Gabler, and Owen. Okay. I literally forgot about Owen until this very second. I know, I feel so bad. Okay, so I think what's gonna happen, I think Owen's gonna get voted out. No. I think it's gonna be Carla, then Owen, and then the final 3 will be Cass, Jesse, and Gabler. In terms of placement, then it would be Gabler, Cass, and then Jesse is the winner, I think. Okay. What about you?
This is not what I hope happens. This was just what I think is probably going to happen. I think it's going to be. Oh, Carlos has an idol right before she played it. Yeah, she played it. So then, I think it's going to be Jesse 5.
Jesse voted out 5th. He's an idol still.
He's still an idol. Don't worry about me.
What do you mean?
I literally just sat here and said, yeah. Owen 5, Jesse 4, Gabler 3, Carla 2, Cassidy 1. Mm-hmm. I think that's what that's what we're gonna get.
I want Queen Cass to win for a lot of reasons.
I would be happy if she won.
Yeah, I'm just going by the odds right now because I think that I talked about this a lot with Kim. And like we know that so Jesse is definitely gonna make it to the final 4. I could see him being in a position where he is saved from fire. I could see a position where he's saved from fire if he wins the fire. Like if he is a 1 in 4 shot of not making it to the final 3 at that point. And I feel like if he makes it to the final 3, the season's his. But if Cass can wipe him out, then she's my winner.
Yeah, and that's what I'm kind of thinking is going to happen.
Yeah.
It would be, you know what? I want to be proven wrong. I want Jesse to win, but everyone saw what
I want
happened.
Cass to win so bad. I want her to win. Yeah. I just want to have one winner pick where I actually win. And I've been really good at choosing finalists for the last 3 seasons. I've always chosen someone who's been a second place winner or someone who's at least made it, very, very close to the end. Mike was mine last season. Who was mine the season before? I don't know. But I admit that they're so close to the end. But Cass, I think that I have it this time. I think that I might be right, and I hope that she wins.
All right. That we're gonna start wrapping it up. Any final thoughts going into the finale?
I don't know. I'm hoping because I feel like it's already on such a kick. I'm hoping that we really reach a good peak this season. I think that we're going to have a lot of jaw-dropping moments, especially near the end. What do you think?
I think that I think we might be in for. It's so hard because 42's finale was really good.
It was so good.
I think we're in for the second best finale of the.
Yeah,
of the
and sorry, I know that we're wrapping up, but I also want to bring out to you, like, we're going to be in that final 5, and there's going to be some sort of advantage, I think, for the final 5.
Do you think it's the same one?
I think so. I like, because right now they're kind of mimicking exactly the structure they did with 41 and 42, and they moved to a whole new island. Yeah. So I think that they're going to do something pretty similar. I do think they're going to do the ball one again.
Yes,
I think so too.
Yeah,
I think so.
Final 4. I think they will do that.
Yeah.
Well, all right. I'm sure I'll be texting you throughout the night tomorrow
and today.
Huh?
And today.
Thank you all for tuning in. We're going to obviously we're going to try to do something different for the actual finale of this, but we have to get that. We have to get our schedules in sync.
It's happening.
And so then we can reach out to other people. But thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you after not directly after, but maybe a couple days after the Survivor finale.
Yes. Let's go, Queen Cass.